Hello, hello! Ayan, nandito po tayo ngayon sa taniman ng kagashi, rice field. Or, in Japan is tambo. Or ta. Okay, yan po yung gumagawa. Diba? Sa Pilipinas, kinakamay pa natin.
Japanese would usually begin with the phrase itadakimasu, which means I gratefully receive. Saying itadakimasu before a meal is thanking the food and all those people who made the meal possible. Due to tattoos being associated with the Japanese organized crime syndicate or yakuza, people with tattoos are not allowed. Although recently there have been some changes, it is recommended to ask ahead before heading over. Talking loudly on trains, putting on makeup, and taking up more than one seat is considered bad-mannered and are amongst the most annoying behavior on trains in Japan. Differences between Japan and abroad. For example, taking off shoes at home and not having a tip system in Japan. Apart from these, there are still many things that are actually surprising and interesting about Japanese culture and manners that are very different from where we were raised from. Please take a look as we discuss these manners and etiquette. First, let's talk about good manners and etiquette in everyday living. Perhaps these are the first thing that we pick up on immediately on our first arrival in Japan. When starting a meal, Japanese would usually begin with the phrase itadakimasu, which means I gratefully receive. Saying itadakimasu before a meal is thanking the food and all those people who made the meal possible. It is also natural for them to say gochiso sama deshita after the meal to express the same gratitude. You may consider yourself to be a chopsticks master and can pick up a fly like Mr. Miyagi, but you might not be aware of some important ohashi or chopsticks etiquette, such as never point your chopstick at another person, wave it in the air, move plates and bowls around, and spear food with them. You are not supposed to stick your chopsticks into a bowl of rice or pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks, as this is a reminiscent of a funeral rite. Lastly, if you have already eaten with your chopsticks, use the opposite or unused end to take food from a shared plate. More often than not, you'd find yourself taking off shoes often when entering the Japanese-style inns or ryokan, temples and traditional restaurants. It is considered polite to remove your outdoor shoes and wear slippers when indoors. Most hosts offer slippers that you can use and you can change into one at the entranceway. Slippers are generally worn anywhere, except entering a tatami floor. Remove your slippers before entering into the tatami and place them neatly outside the tatami room. You also need to change into toilet slippers when entering the bathroom and should never be used outside the toilet area. Perhaps having the hot spring experience in Japan is one of the top must-do. For a more authentic and enjoyable hot springs or bathhouse experience, you need to keep these manners in mind. You need to clean and wash yourself first before entering. Swimsuits are not allowed at the traditional hot springs or bathhouse. Hot spring experience in Japan is one of the top must-do. For a more authentic and enjoyable hot springs or bathhouse experience, you need to keep these manners in mind. You need to clean and wash yourself first before entering. Swimsuits are not allowed at the traditional hot springs or bathhouse, so if you feel shy walking around in your areas, due to tattoos being associated with the Japanese organized crime syndicate or yakuza, people with tattoos are not allowed. Although recently there have been some changes. It is recommended to ask ahead before heading over. Arriving on time in Japan, be it for dinner, doctor's appointment, interview, or meeting a friend, is very important. It is considered to be extremely rude to be late and inconsiderate to ask people to wait for you. Having said that, arriving 5 to 10 minutes earlier is considered to be on time. A large part of the Japanese people spends most of their time taking the public transportation, mainly the train. It is therefore expected to be considerate of other people and be particularly conscious of the flow of people around you. Don't block passageways with yourself, your backpack, or luggage. During busy hours, follow the walking directions on stairs and passageways inside the station. Waiting passengers form lines on platforms and always let passengers align before boarding the train. Talking loudly on trains, putting on makeup, and taking up more than one seat is considered bad manners and are amongst the most annoying behavior on trains in Japan. You should set your phone and all other electronic devices to silent mode while in Japan. Lastly, eating and drinking while on board the city trains are also very much frowned upon. Next are the good manners and etiquette at work, which are important when you are planning to do internships or build a career in Japan. Even if you try your absolute best, you won't get everything completely right all the time.